Thank you. Because we all have to put forward. It needs to be so good in summer and also it's a little bit light already.
Ladies, I feel like this is the ladies Toastmasters. It's very nice to see so many women, and I see some new faces, of course familiar to me, because as you know, I've been at the agency for 19 years. And I am your VIC Toastmasters President for this year, 21-22. We are going to look for nominations for the next president for the 22-23 year. And you just have to be a member in good standing, which means that you paid your dues. And it would be nice if you have done some of the pathways levels. I will be completing a speech today. It will be the last one of level 3, then I'll start level 4. And once you're in pathways, it's really straightforward. You have to evaluate yourself before your speech, after your speech, so don't be scared. We're all going to work with you. If you need help, I can come to your office or someone who's a member that can show you how to use pathways. So normally with our meeting, we like to start out with welcoming everyone and of course our guests. So I would like to start with the guests today, and please don't be shy. This is a safe environment. Stand up, tell us who you are, how you found out about this club, and what you would expect to get from it. So the first one I see, of course, is Karina. Karina, please stand and tell us about yourself.
Hi, my name is Karina. I've been here for 16 years. I haven't held a speech in...
We're here because we have more than one
Oh,
organization.
IAEA. I haven't given a speech in years. About 30 years ago, I got a theater degree, so I used to do this, but I kind of suck at it now, and I'd like to get better. And Ria brought me here.
Thank you. Karina is quite the talent, I have to just say. I've known her for a long time, and she opened up one of the IAEA balls, or I guess it's the considered
Two of
staff
them.
associate. 2 of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I just want to. Outstanding voice. She's very talented.
Thank you.
And then other than that, I do see some of you have become members in the meantime, and that's, can you tell me if any of you're full members now, so you're not really guests anymore, right?
No.
Oh, they are. You're still guests. Okay. Well, I know you're not
We
on
have
stage a lot.
one
Yes.
member in Spain,
Okay.
and it's Julia.
Julia, please. Go ahead. We have a few new people.
Actually, I signed the application form, but I still didn't pay because I didn't understand how to pay, so I will pay today and it will be officially already enrolled in Toastmaster. So I'm just sorry, I need to, what the topic I need to tell now?
Just introduce yourself. Who are
Introduction.
you? Who are you?
I'm Ukrainian and I work in the top hydrology section and atomic agency, and it's my 3rd year. So on the 3rd year, I understand what actually I need to improve my public speaking skills to be heard by my counterparts and to impact actually more in isotope hydrology application. So I think it will help not only for me but also for my department to advance isotope hydrology at the broader scale. So public speaking, Toastmaster is advised by my section head. She never visited Toastmaster, but she told me what it will be a very good solution, and I was happy to find what we have Toastmaster in the VIC.
Thank you, Julia. And so, last, I know you're not going to be here for much longer, but please tell us about where you
Hello
go.
everyone, my name is Clara, I'm from Slovenia. I'm here only for 3 months doing the internship. I'm from the same department as Julia, so isotope hydrology. This club was introduced to me by my mentor, and I think she also didn't come here so far. I decided to join to see what this club is about, to have more confidence in public speaking or just in general speaking when using English.
Thank you. So that's it for our 3 guests today, and members, please make them feel welcome. We want to let you know that the logistics of our club, we only meet twice a month. Sometimes there's a special, like last week, and I thank you all who ever came to our luncheon. It was organized by Inez. It was over at the Arc Hotel, so we like to have a social event at least once, sometimes twice a year. Last year we said goodbye to our president. His name was Tristan, and he worked here in MTBF. That's why we have this great room. And that was at a Horrigan, so that was quite nice too. And usually the club sponsors either your drinks or some part of the bill, so it is worth it to give back to our members once or twice a year. So we do meet still one time in person here in AO 671, and that's on the second Tuesday of the month. And on the fourth Tuesday, which will be on the 26th of April, is usually on Zoom until we can go back to fully 100% in person. We have to stay on Zoom for those who are working from home, which I know that the UN is still working from home until May 1st. Now, again in this month, on the 23rd of April, we have the division contest. There's contests each year for table topics, for international speech, and Sila from our club has made it to this division contest. She will be competing on the 23rd. And I'm a little bit embarrassing to say this, but I've actually made it as well to the division contest without even having to do a table topic here at the club level or the area level. So I'm quite embarrassed, but I'll be back. Table topics, if you don't know what they are, they're real fun, they're spontaneous. We're going to do them today, and it's just impromptu speaking, like you did by introducing yourself, but there's usually a very easy, sometimes challenging theme, but that's what makes it so fun. You get up, you have between 1 and 2 minutes. But I'm not going to explain any of that anymore. I'm going to hand over the Toastmaster of the day to our very own Maria Teresa. Maria Teresa, please come forward and explain the program.
You're supposed to stay at the podium.
Oh, she's going to shake.
No, you're supposed to. No.
Okay, we're supposed to.
And
She's a toughie.
there's supposed to be a handshake, but in this day and age, maybe we just do an elbow bump. So, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, I am your Toastmaster of the day. Now, I didn't want to do this, but I waited until 10:30 this morning and nobody had signed up. So, in desperation, and also with an idea of maybe explaining a little bit more about what a Toastmaster does, I decided to step in. So what does a Toastmaster do? A Toastmaster of the day basically leads you through the meeting, informs you of what the agenda is, and thanks to Rena, who is always so conscientious and gives us a printout. This is my script. Without this script, I would be totally lost. Melanie was not 100% correct. She said we have a full program today. Actually, that's not true. We only have one speaker, a session called Table Topics that I will explain a little bit later, and an evaluation session. So, the evaluation session is going to be run by one of our long-standing Toastmasters. She sometimes, because of her work, cannot come to our meetings, but whenever she does, I'm so glad to see her here. She has previously been on the executive committee, and I know her as a very reliable and dependable Toastmaster. So I introduce our General Evaluator, Toastmaster Monica.
Thank you very much for this wonderful introduction, Maria Teresa. I will just remove my mask, perhaps then it will be easier for you to understand me. So I have the pleasure today to be the General Evaluator. You know that we come to Toastmasters to become better speakers and better leaders. And in order to get that, we have to also receive feedback. So feedback is one of the key elements of every Toastmaster meeting. Today, my role consists in observing the conduct of the meeting, and at the end of the meeting, I will provide you with some feedback. But of course, I cannot do that alone. I have a team who will assist me in doing that. I will introduce you first our evaluator, the evaluator of the first speaker, who is Toastmaster Maria Teresa.
Moi.
She will, at the beginning of each of the speech, actually read the objectives of the speaker. And I will introduce you now the rest of my team members. We have a grammarian today, who is Toastmaster Ines. And yeah, perhaps you can briefly get up and explain the role.
fellow Toastmaster, fellow evaluator, and a guest as a grammarian. I will observe the grammar used of the English language, the creativity displayed, the use of the word of the day. And by the way, the word of the day today is to unlock. And we will unlock today a lot of potential.
So I will unlock our next team member now with Toastmaster Rina. She's the timekeeper today. Actually, she has two roles today. Can you please explain your roles, Rina? Get up and just...
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, my role is to time the speeches. This is green, yellow and red. It is for Melanie. 5 to 7 minutes. 5, 6, 7. I am using the old method because I do not know how to use that red lamp over there. And for the table topics is 2 minutes. So I will report it at the end of the meeting. And the ballot counter is Sila is doing the table topics. So I have to collect the votes and announce the winner. This is my role.
Another very important element of our team is the R counter. And today we have, Alma. Alma who is going to be the R counter.
Hi everyone, fellow Toastmasters. My name is Alma. I will be today your A counter. That means I will count all the fillers and all the uses of A and all the other things in speeches and in table topics, I believe. Then at the end I will report on the count.
So this is my team today. And now is the time for the prepared speeches. So I would like to give back the word to our Toastmaster of today, Toastmaster Maria Teresa.
Thank you, Toastmaster Monica. Thank you. So, for those of you who are guests, maybe there's some words or expressions or things we do that seem strange to you. Like why do we do it? We're not seals. We're here basically to acknowledge what somebody has contributed to our meeting and also to encourage them. That's the way we also give nice introductions, to make people feel comfortable, to come to the podium. A ballot counter. A ballot. What's a ballot? You all have in front of you a piece of paper that I think is actually unfortunate that we only use it here in this club for one function to decide on who has the best table topic. Table topic, that's another thing, but we get to that in a bit. I don't want to keep her on pins and needles because I know she's very keen to deliver this speech. Of course, I'm talking about our president, Melanie, who I know as a dynamic, enthusiastic, full of all kinds of good things. You need to keep close to people like this. And she's going to be delivering a project today out of pathways. Now again, pathways, it's not a motorway. It's not a walking path, Rena. Pathways is our educational program in Toastmasters. And that's how we basically start out giving speeches. Now Melanie has also reached a certain level in Pathways, so I am obliged as her evaluator to tell you what that is. She's going to be preparing out of the Dynamic Leadership Path, project number 3, which is Inspire Your Audience. Now, I can't think of anybody more inspirational than Melanie. I get goosebumps just looking at her. In any event, I'm taking off my Toastmaster hat. And now I'm her evaluator. And as her evaluator, I'm going to read you the purpose of her speech, the objective. And I'm sorry I haven't memorized it. I have to read it off of this. By the way, whenever you give an evaluation in this form, you always get something that you can print out or submit online, where you have a variety of criteria that you're looking for in a given speech. But let's get back to the purpose. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice writing and delivering a speech that inspires others. The purpose of the speech is for the member to inspire the audience. Now that's kind of boring. I can't imagine Melanie doing anything boring. So at least now, as the Toastmaster of the day, I tell you the title of her speech. Are you free? relationships in today's world. Are you free? Relationships in today's world. My great pleasure to introduce Toastmaster Melanie.
Where there is a desire, there is going to be a flame. And where there is a flame, someone's bound to get burned. Just because it burns doesn't mean you're going to die. Fires, flames, they need air in order to breathe and to be sustainable. So do relationships. Fellow Toastmasters, our honored guests, I have to talk to you today about something that's going to inspire you. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to inspire all of you. It's a controversial topic. It has to do with long-term monogamous relationships. And this is for anyone who's ever loved before. Whether you're in a long-term relationship, whether you just have close friends. It's not an easy issue to talk about, is it? But we have to be more open, I think, in this day and age, and we have to try to learn about new perspectives in order to navigate this thing we call love. So I'm here to question this whole traditional thought pattern that we have. Relationships, marriage, in today's world. Some people are for them, some are against them, some live together, all different types of relationships today. So where does this take us? Well, some of you may be a little bit uncomfortable about this theme, so I want to just advise you that there will be some adult content that I'll be discussing. And you're welcome to cover your eyes and blush, get up and leave. But I think it's a topic that, since we're all women, that we can discuss openly. Let's talk about love. I want to talk to you today about love. So, love in specifically exclusive romantic relationships. Do you know that when you are in love, that there is a natural, chemical, and biological response that happens in your body? Dopamine and oxytocin are released when you're in love. It's a drug. It's the happy drug. Some part of us loves this captivity that we have with our partner. We want to be owned, and we want to own our partner, don't we? You want to capture and you want to hold and control your beloved. Ownership, it's biological, and it's also very addictive. We want this mutual exclusivity with our partner. We think they should only have eyes for us, and in the beginning we only want them for them. But I have to be honest with you, I've been reading a lot, and there's a lot of material out there about this. And one of my most favorite authors is a woman named Esther Perel, and she wrote 2 books. The first is Mating in Captivity, and the second one is The State of Affairs. And she discussed this question every time. She says, you want from your partner certain things. And I make a list. What do we want from our partners? Well, first of all, in today's day and age, you want that security, you want that stability, don't you? You want your partner to be your emotional companion, your best friend, your greatest lover, your intellectual equal, if you have children, to be the best parent with you, your trusted confidant, to give you financial stability and sometimes social status. And don't forget, you should love me forever. We're living so long today, aren't we? Let me rewind a little bit. Let's go back hundreds of years ago. Okay, in the past, marriage was a contract. It was a business deal. It wasn't about love. It was 2 people that were maybe trying to raise a family and needed the financial stability and the social status. You didn't intermarry. There was no such thing as interracial or interracial, not only the, sorry, I lost my train of thought. You didn't marry within different religions even. It was, you tried to stay within your own race, your own religion. it was taboo. It was unheard of. And the problem is that you looked for love outside of your marriage. And it was a different ecosystem. You would have 14 children hoping that 10 of them would live to help you on the farm. It was a lifespan together of, if you were lucky, 50 years. We didn't live that long. And today, we're looking at the fact that we want to choose our partners. And when we choose our partner, they should be our one and only. So how, my question to you all, to think of is, how do you keep this alive? How is this sustainable? We're living so much longer. It's two contradictory things that are happening. You want this stability, but at the same time you want your freedom. Love represents a need that we have for each other. Yet desire, dare to I say, is the want in your relationship. I want you, I desire you. So how do we keep desire, this passion, alive? How do we do it if we want to control this other person? We want to know everything about them. Think about today's digital footprint, the digital age that we live in. We can track, we can follow people, we see what they're doing on social media all the time, what they're eating, where they're going on vacation, when they're together, when they break up. There's no mystery anymore. Why are we so transparent? I want to discuss with you the topic today simply to just remind you that you have to think about dismantling this idea of ownership, owning another person, this captivity or this vice grip that you want to have on your partner's every move. Is it so wise? We should start having open and honest conversations about this autonomy that we seek. We want to invite the truth in. Can you be secure and stable, yet still be autonomous? These are the conversations we should be having with our partners, with our loved ones. They should be caring and compassionate conversations. And we should think about revisiting this belief system that we all have, that we need to control each other when we're in a long-term relationship. So, to talk about the taboos, when I told you earlier, 100 years ago, there was no interracial or intermarriage between the different classes, the different religions. How about 50 years ago? Did you ever hear of a same-sex, same-gender marriage or a transgender marriage? So today's day and age, I want to start thinking about monogamous relationships and their challenges, and should we impose these strict rules and boundaries on each other? Can we have love without controlling one another? We're happy, aren't we, in our relationships, most of us, most of the time. But could we be happier? What are we entitled to? So remember, in order to sustain a fire, it needs air. And to keep flame alive in your relationship, you need air and you need space. That's all I have for you today.
Thank you, Toastmaster Melanie. I'm not sure I agree with everything you said in there, but it was a very thought-provoking speech. So now, each and every one of you in this room can be an evaluator, although Melanie will get a proper evaluation. You have this ballot slip in front of you where you can put down, I think it's in the first section, your reactions to Toastmaster Melanie's speech. What you liked, what you didn't like, where you thought she could do better. And for this, we have 1 minute. So I ask our timer, please, for 1 minute. And then we should have a little, yes, and she's looking for it already, a little cup that we'll be sending around the room. And if anybody needs a ballot, I see Rena already coming to, at least to their aid.
1 minute is over.
Thank you, our timer, Toastmaster Nina. So, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. Now we come to the part of the meeting that some people love, and some people suddenly decide, oh, I have a meeting at the BF, and I walk out the door. We call them table topics. These are our impromptu speeches. Somebody asks you a question, you have a few seconds to compose yourself, and then you have to stand up and speak. The target time is 1 to 2 minutes. Now, 1 minute may sound like nothing, but sometimes with a table topic, it's an eternity. Won't go away. The person who's going to be leading us through this section of the Toastmaster meeting is again another former executive committee member and a winner in every single aspect of that, having won our area contest, moving on to the division. You're much too modest, Stella, much too modest. In any event, she's not going to be giving a prepared speech today. She's going to be delivering this table topic and leading us through this session. So I invite Toastmaster Stella to the podium for the table topic session.
Thank you, Maria Teresa. And fellow Toastmasters, I love hosting the table topic sessions, actually. I felt like this is an opportunity for me as a table topic master to unlock my creativity because I get to decide the questions, and also to unlock your potential as a speaker, because then you will have to think on your feet and speak for about 2 minutes. There's a lot of excitement and thrill. But the idea that I came today, that I got for my table topic questions, came from a rather heavy subject. To prepare my speech contest, I have been looking at different videos that you can find on Netflix. And there's one lady like Renee Brown. She gave an excellent speech about vulnerability, shame, and courage. I would definitely encourage you to check that out on Netflix. And so basically today's table topic questions are all quotes from her. And I would love to hear your view about some of these ideas that she had. Interesting thoughts about what it means to be a courageous person. So the first question that I have is basically about vulnerability. So according to her, vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up when you can't control the outcome. And I would like to start from the very end of the table, because I guess the fact that you sit at the very end, it means something. Andrea, can I ask you to take up the first question?
Of course, would you mind repeating it?
Yeah, you would have the sleep as well. And vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up when you can't control the outcome. Would you want to come?
Yes, of course.
Please.
I thought I'd get to stay
You
here
have the sleep as
in
well.
back.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Vulnerability is not winning or losing. I completely and fully agree with this statement. I think every human can and gets very vulnerable. I think we do everything in our power to, put our heads to the ground and pretend we're so strong and we can, pass by everything and nothing touches us. But the truth is, every one of us has issues. Every one of us goes through difficult times, be it, for example, now when I speak here and I think about people who go through a very difficult time, not too far from us. I feel, especially in this building and those organizations, we should be thinking about every one person that goes through difficult times. We should be able to support them in their vulnerability. We should be able to unlock our own vulnerabilities and, show ourselves as human and not as robots.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your sharing. I guess you basically have said what Renee Brown has said in her video as well already. So yeah, thanks a lot. And the second one that I wanted to, the question is, so, you know, in order to be able to show, you know, who we are, our vulnerability, we need to ask ourselves, what is authenticity? So for Renee Brown, she said, authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we are supposed to be and embracing who we are. So authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we are supposed to be and embracing who we are. And with this one, I want to parse it to Elmar. I would be counting, you know, your arms and R as well, so do you mind?
You don't have to do it yourself.
Yeah. Do you want to stay there or you want to come?
I would rather stay.
Yeah, okay.
Could you repeat the word?
I can have to sleep. Okay. Like, it's, authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing ourselves.
Ah, authenticity, okay. So yes, authenticity is actually, I believe, very important in everything what we do. Whether is it in our work environment or in personal life or in our hobbies, anything that we do, we have to remain true to ourselves and to stay authentic. Sometimes it's hard because we all try to fit in certain norms that are set to us with our environment, with people we spend most time with, and so on. But I think even though the environment is influencing and our surroundings, it's influencing our development and growth, I still think that from time to time we have to reflect and see if we are true to ourselves, if we are really staying and if we are authentic with our goals and with our statement that we want to become. And my time is up, I think it's still here. I was waiting for green. I'm sorry, this was a hard one.
No, you're being very authentic and, you know, tell us like what you're waiting for, so that's absolutely.
Your time is up when you see the red light, okay? You can talk
Yes,
until you see
the red.
this sign, okay?
When you see the green, you can also stop. Stay authentic.
Yes, as you wish, yeah, whatever that works for you. So the third one is, this one is an interesting one, I find it personally. That she say, what we know matters, but who we are matters more. What we know matters, but who we are matters more. And that I want to give a bit to the front and pass it on to Yulia.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, I have very standard love. So I'm 25 years with the same man, we have children, and like I cannot tell what all these criteria filled, but after I ask myself, yes, we have standard love, but what means standard love is a socially acceptable patterns that we have. Normally, like most of the society, generally accept heterogeneous relationship, but maybe in future we transform love to personality. We are not looking to standards, we are going out of the standards. And one of the way to go actually out of the standards is to love yourself, to find relation with yourself. Can we feel actually with criteria not by our partner, but ourselves? because probably it was in my case like that. We cannot feel everything, but I looked at myself and told myself I should establish relationship the first with me, to love myself, to look at my strong and weak points, and how can I work on my weaker points, and how this improvement can help to feel this criteria. So this is important to look at who we are, and it's important to go out of the standards sometimes to discover more things, to discover more directions.
Bravo. So I guess when we go back to the video, like we will have lots more interesting
and this is 2 minutes.
food for thought.
1 minute is minimum.
And so the fourth one is the shortest one among all. You just say 3 words. Courage is contagious. Courage is contagious. And with that, I think Raya, you bring us new members so you can tell us how contagious that can be. Thank you.
Courage. So I think it's very good to be courageous and to have lots of courage to do and to express yourself. It's contagious if you are with the person constantly somehow, but sometimes it's also annoying if a person is beside you very courageous and you are not. It needs lots of courage to do certain things, some of them here, which I agree of those things here in a relationship or alone. But sometimes you could be also too much courageous. And I have to admit that I am sometimes having too much courage. And it's not always the best. Because you think it's the right thing to do and I have to do it and then go, I'm going to say it, and then you do it and then you regret afterwards. Because it was not really the right thing to do, although you thought so, yeah? And it's not appreciated. And in this moment where you don't feel appreciation, I think appreciation is one of the most important things in life for us. You give appreciation to yourself, you appreciate the persons or the field where you are, which is related to, as you said, the man that I'm with 23 years, or the environment I'm living in this building, or working here. So courage is contagious, I agree, but it is not always appreciated or needed.
Thank you so much. And yeah, we just need to decide when best, to spread that contagious courage, I guess. And the fifth one is quite a long one, so but it's also something that I find it really interesting. Brené Brown also say, faith is a place of mystery, where we find the courage to believe in what we cannot see, and the strength to let go of our fear of uncertainty. So faith is the place of mystery, where we can find the courage to believe in what we cannot see, and the strength to let go of our fear of uncertainty. And with that, I want to give it to Moina, because she's coming out from, coming all the way into the IC to attend the meeting. So you have this one, please.
Fellow Toastmaster, honored guest, it was a long run, I don't remember, but I know the message. Faith is a place of mystery. Yes, it is. Otherwise, it's not called faith. Something that you see and you go for it, it's not called faith. When you drive a car during the night and you don't know where you're going, you don't know what will happen during that path, but you have the faith that you will achieve the destination. Since we're talking about relationship, I want to share that There was a long time when my mom every day would say, find a husband, find a husband, find a husband. And it became such a survival mode. And I said, and it just, it was contagious. And it didn't let me unlock my potential. So I woke one day and I said, Mom, I have faith that I'll find someone, or many ones. But please, I don't want to live in survival mode. Yeah, I don't want to live that. I wake up during the day. I have so much to experience during the world is so beautiful. I want to experience and be full of experience. And it was hard to share with my mom this kind of vulnerability. And it still is hard to share with her that I still have faith. But and even if, and I realized I cannot share my faith with her, so I kept saying, Mom, even if I don't find, I will die trying. That's a place of mystery. It's worthwhile living. Thank you.
That's why the club is a safe space, right? Don't worry. We share your faith and you are not alone. Like all moms say that, so don't worry. And so the last question is sort of a wrap up for all. And thank you so much for all the sharing and emotion. The last one says, connection is why we are here. It is what gives purpose and meaning to our lives. Connection is why we are here. It is what gives purpose and meaning to our lives. And of course, this one we have to give to Melanie to prepare for. Please.
I'm so ready. I'm so embarrassed. I wouldn't give it
No, come on.
Thank you. I first have to say I am a big fan of Brene Brown, so don't time me yet. Outstanding author as well. I've read every one of her books, so I feel kind of like I'm cheating answering this question. So I'm ready to start. Connection is definitely why we're here. You make a connection with someone every day, whether it's in the hall here at work or when you get home. Even if you're making a phone call to a parent or you're with your spouse, your significant other, connection with another person, I believe it has to do with just our human nature. You know, it's not just, I love the physical touch, but it's also those words that you say to someone, words of affirmation, acts of service when you do something nice for someone. And in this room right now with all of you, that is a connection. And if this isn't an exchange of energy, I don't know what is. Because it's a safe environment, yes, but it's also someplace where we can come and we can share ideas with each other, and we can say, you know what, today I feel emotional, or I need that little extra push to get me on my right track. We all come in with gifts, every one of us. And nobody has to live up to any expectation that they have to be this or that by a certain time in their life. We all want to progress in our work, professionally. We want to progress privately in our lives, in our relationships. But the bottom line is, you need to wake up every day. And I'll tell you, look in that mirror and you give yourself a high five. Because that's what it's all about. Because you are showing up uncertain of what's going to happen today. Okay? Unlocking your potential every day with who you meet, who you come in contact with. And that's what connection is. Connection with yourself, loving yourself first, and then being able, like they say in the airplane, put your mask on first. Get your oxygen, and then help the other one sitting next to you. Whether it's your child, your spouse, your neighbor, your lifelong friend, Max. Help yourself first, give yourself a high five, and just show up and be there. That's your connection. I love you all.
So, thank you so much. I just give a brief summary of what we had. We had the first one from Andrea, that is about Adriana about vulnerability. Then Elmer talks about authenticity. Then the third one, sorry, where did I go? Yulia, yes, not about know, it's about who we are. Fourth one is about, Raya talks about, Ria, because I forgot sorry,
Courage, what did you say?
courage is contagious, yes. Next time I need to improve my memory. The fifth one is, Warner talks about faith is a place of mystery. And the last one is Melanie about connection. So if you can vote for the best table topic speaker, and I just want to say thank you all for your sharing, for the emotions, for the energy, and for the tears. Definitely it's a special table topic session, and I truly enjoy it. So thanks a lot. Yes, sorry.
The podium is always supposed to be somebody behind it. You know? That's one of the de rigueur points of the Toastmasters. Silla, I loved your questions, and I was so sorry I didn't get a chance to answer them. We ran the gamut from, you know, things that were light and things that were serious. I could have voted for every single table topic as the best one. I really genuinely could. But you at least have to make that decision now. And I see again our faithful sergeant at arms passing around the cup with the best table topic speaker. So now it's time to come to the evaluation section. Lots of people think, why do you need an evaluation section? We're all so good anyway.
Excuse me, please, because we joined it later. For me, it's completely confused how to evaluate and whom to evaluate and what process to evaluate. Like, because for me it's confusing.
Thank you, I appreciate that. What would you specifically like to know?
Yeah, I would like to know, for example, we have first speaker. And first speaker, it was who? It was...
That was Melanie, and
who is the second speaker?
It's on there.
Okay, because and the speakers what was introduced by Toastmaster, topic master was Silla. So we are not evaluating them.
No.
We evaluating only
The first speaker and the table topic. Table topic.
And after we are evaluating best.
The best table topic.
Only one.
What do you think is the best table topic?
I think
so this is related
that's
to
good
this
that you
one
asked
was
that.
introduced by Silla. This is
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So in a Toastmaster meeting, the only person that gets an evaluation is the speaker. And ordinarily we have two speakers, so we have two evaluators. And then the other thing is that we have the ballot, that we vote for the best table topic. But we don't evaluate the best table topic. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So we now evaluating topic master.
Well, actually, I'm going to be introducing her.
No.
And I was actually trying to get to the point of why we need evaluation. We think we're good, but you know what? We could be better. Always. I always strive. I know a lot about Toastmasters, but I'm always looking for just that one thing that I don't know, or just the other thing that I could master. And again, in the Toastmaster meeting, we have somebody leading that section. That's our general evaluator. And before I ask Monica to come to the podium, I have to thank her, because I'm going to share something. He's not my lifelong partner, by the way, Max. You know, I've got to straighten that up straight away. Monica showed me a lot of courage, because at our Toastmaster lunch last week, I had my zipper on my trouser not zipped up. And she came over to me and very discreet, Maria Teresa, it's open. And I thought, that was courageous. You're blushing now, Monica. You know, that took a lot for you to say that to me. But do you know how I appreciated that constructive feedback? Running around with my fly over, exposing myself. So you see the benefits of evaluation. You learn something, they help you. And you're going to be helping us now. Toastmaster Monica, please come to lead the evaluation section. It's true, this is a true story, by the way.
I love how we are unlocking ourselves, opening up and sharing all these nice experiences. So now the evaluation section starts, and I would like to welcome again our first evaluator who will evaluate the first speaker. So please over your head.
We refer to this person as Madam General Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. Melanie, I'm not sure what you were inspiring us to do. Were you inspiring us to be polygamous? Or to go looking? I'm not sure exactly what the inspiration was. I mean, you give me a lot to think about. You give me really a lot to think about where I am in my life. I actually, at the moment, I'm not staying with my lifelong friend Max. I'm looking for a man. Anyway, this is an evaluation. So at least I comment. I like the way that Melanie. Sorry, you have to leave us real.
Sorry, I'm sorry,
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Bye. See you next week.
See you next week.
I like the way that Melanie started off her speech with a question. But I thought your voice could have been a little bit stronger. I think it was your nerves where it took you a while to get into it. But the way that you had the question, to me, at least for me, I thought your voice should have gone up and you were a little bit flat. It's just like you were doing really funny things with your hands at the beginning. You're probably not aware of it, but if you watch, at least I think we're having this filmed, if you watch that, you'll see that your hands were doing strange things, which particularly didn't impress me, because other than that, you were such a presence behind the podium. You showed, at least for me, no signs of nervousness. You were completely, going on and on, very fluid, very engaging. I liked it when you talk about, let's talk about, and I was sure you were going to say sex, but you said, let's talk about love. Now, for me, talking about audio visuals, you brought in the flip chart. But could anybody here read your points on the flip chart?
Yeah.
I would have made them, well, I'm blind, I couldn't. So I would have preferred you maybe put 3 or 4 on one page. And the other thing is when you're working with a flip chart, caress it, touch it. You know the way that people deliver the weather, and they're always pointing at least to the temperatures and the wind, and they do all these things with this caressing. I would have liked to have seen some caressing. The other thing, at least in terms of content, you say what we want. I mean, maybe that's what you want, but that's not necessarily what I want. I mean, I could care less about the best pen, and I'm definitely not going to have any children at this age. And the other thing is, I could really care less about financial security. I mean, I'm comfortable, I can't complain. So I found it a bit strange that what we want. But this is, again, very, very true. There was lots of wisdom in Melanie's speech. And lots of things that I thought, content-wise, were brilliant. How am I doing with my time? The other thing that I thought Melanie did very well was her ending, when she was talking about how you have to sustain the fire. But you know what you did? Afterwards you say, that's all I have for today, which took away from the impact. That was so, what shall I say, it sustained the fire. End it there. You didn't have to say, that's all I have for today. For me, that was not the right way to go. Other than that, you're quite a presence to be contended with. Again, engaging, pleasant to listen to, content, emotion, love. And with that, I return control to the General Evaluator, Toastmaster Monica.
Excellent evaluation, Maria Teresa. And I would like to call now one of my other members, Marian. Please, Ines, you give us your report.
Hello, Toastmasters, honored guests, Madam General Evaluator. You were brilliant. You were so creative with the use of the language. It's amazing. So emotional. And I think that makes it even more quality-wise fantastic. You were really able to express what you had. And that is something which I, as a grammarian, also looked at. I see that the use of the word of the day to unlock was used many times, more than 10 times, which I counted from 7 of you. And as to the speaker of today, I wanted actually to find out, did everybody understand what a trusted confidant is, what an emotional companion is? What I would suggest is to especially when you look at the audience you're having here, financial stability is a different one as, you know, when you have women who are migrating and looking for men, for example. I mean, I'm just very simplifying things. So I think it's good to also in a speech, and I'm not taking away from the content issue because the points were made by Maria Teresa and they were excellent. But I think it's good in a speech like this, especially when you go to larger audience or you want to have some kind of competition, you're putting in the competition. This could be a very good speech for competition, I think. But I loved it. I don't agree with everything, but it's very fun. I would like to give the grammarian crown, not to one person, but to 3. That's very hard for me, personally. 1 to Alma. Be true to yourself. And actually it's interesting, because the table topics in the issues which we discussed were very linked to also the speech. Isn't it incredible how things, how connected actually we are, also in giving our input. Then Julia talked about loving yourself. I think brilliant. I'm missing that in a lot of people. And the third one was Ria, and Ria talked about appreciating yourself. Different ways of seeing actually the same thing, but I would like to give the crown to the three of you. Yeah. I will hand over.
Thank you, Miss. Alma, our accountant, please give us your report.
Thank you. I will go from here. Today, I can report that we had a very nice session with not a lot of us. I don't know what's my count, but I believe it's the highest. I still need to work on that, but I'm trying. That's why I'm here. So I will start with Melanie. Brilliant speech. Some nice topics were raised and provocative as well. Only 4 in like. Also, when you said I lost train of thought, that was when you had like 3. It's like, so for some reason, so only there, but otherwise very fluent, very nicely delivered. Sila, I'm sorry, but it's a 14 count. Oh God! And it's because also a lot of not but Just after reading every question, you would say like just the fillers, so just try to maybe be more aware of those. But otherwise, very fluently delivered table topics. Adriana, only 1. Jesus. Yeah. very good. Julia, I counted 3, but it was also very nicely delivered table topic. Ria, 6. She left. And Vojna, 6 and plus some tears. So decided so it was nicely delivered as well, but also some in between the sentences, which we try to avoid here. Thank you. That's my report.
Rina.
Good time. Okay, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. The timing, Melanie took her speech 8 minutes 7 seconds. Table topics, Adriana 1 minute 26 seconds, Alma 1 minute 21 seconds, Julia 1 minute 22 seconds, Ria 1 minute 36 seconds, Vojna 1 minute 54 seconds, Melanie 2 minutes and 4 seconds. And for the evaluation, Maria Teresa took 2 minutes and 45 seconds. This ends my report. It's all within the time. Can you give me your vote? The best table topics?
Yeah, I will understand now better.
Any paper, doesn't matter.
Because it is very tight here, so. It's all together, you know.
That's very good. Great topics.
Okay, if you ask me, everyone is a winner. Because all of them got votes. But Melanie got 1 vote plus. So Melanie is the winner. Otherwise, this is the reason why I asked you, because it is very tight here. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much to my team. I think I will just give you a very short evaluation because I think most of the things were also already said. We started more or less on time, 4 minutes delayed. I think the atmosphere and the connection, the spirit of the meeting was really wonderful again. We laughed a lot, it was very emotional. Sometimes I felt like crying, sometimes I was laughing. There was a lot of energy and the topics were really very interesting. I think all of us gave a lot of very personal insights, a lot of inspirational quotes and thoughts. I liked it very much. I think we didn't have any distractions. I thought like that we had, the speakers had all the time full attention, especially Melanie when she started speaking and she made it, the introduction with such a suspense that we were really hypnotized.
It's a song from Pink.
No.
Sing
it. Can you sing it?
You know the song, where there's desire, there's going to be a flame, where there's a flame, someone's bound to get burned. You know?
Okay.
Where there is desire, there's gonna be a flame. Don't film this.
You don't feel like what is
Pink, Google it. It's from Pink. It's a song.
Good to know.
You know it, right? Pink? I like this. You know. It's a Leo
I think all the rules were also perfectly explained, although I think Julia raised it up. Perhaps we got used to do our things as usual. We are too much into our meetings and we don't see the perspective of our guests. So it would be perhaps good for the next meeting to explain a little bit more in detail what each role contains, what are the different parts of the meeting, and what Toastmasters are supposed to do. I liked it very much that, some members were very spontaneous. Maria Teresa, Rina took more than 2 roles, so thank you for that. And at the end, I think all the roles were covered on time on Easy Speak. I'm not so sure if you saved us, but yeah, next time hopefully we will all on time register in Easy Speak and accept the role as well. I think for the next time it would be good as well if we take our badges.
Yeah.
Usually when we are online we put our name next to our role or our role next to our name on the screen, but if we are in presence here then we should take our badge so that the others can identify us. And that's it. So I would like to give back the word to our Toastmaster today.
Thank you, Toastmaster Monica. So, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, and thank you for giving me my script. Yes, a point of order from Rina.
I brought some Easter eggs because it is Easter chocolate. Please help yourself. Please help yourself or rotate to take. So this is just.
Thank you, Rina.
Before I close this meeting, I'd like to ask who would like to be Toastmaster of our next VIC Toastmasters meeting? Sorry? Well, no, I'm asking for Toastmaster of the day. You know, I jumped in at the last minute because I love this club, and I took a promise that I would commit to this club. Some of you, I sense, maybe are newer, and you're a little bit shy, and I'm not sure how to do it. If you want any coaching, or if you would need any help, I want somebody else other than the executive committee member to be the Toastmaster of the day. If you approach me, I'd be glad to give you my pointers, my experience, whatever. A fun meeting. We had laughs, we had tears, we had content, we had substance, we had drama. And with that, I return control to our presiding officer, Madam President, Toastmaster Melanie.
Thank you, Maria Teresa. It is 20 after 1, and we usually go till 1:30, so this is one of the first times that we've ended so early. And when we close, I always like to call up our guests one more time, or stand where you are and just tell us what you thought of the meeting. We'll start again with Julia because she's been the longest here. Stay where you are, just tell us what you thought.
Actually, I found what because for me it's maybe already second month as I'm a guest, but I found what I start to improve myself, and I actually even looked at my previous recorded presentation and count my R, but it was not that, it was so, and I don't know, so I need to work on this and really find myself that I'm really improving here in this Toastmaster Club.
Then we'll jump to Karina first. Well, Karina, thank you.
Well, I had a little bit of a heart attack for everybody who had to get up and speak. Because I think if I had to do that, I wouldn't be able to breathe. So you all did a really great job. I don't know if I could do this, because I think the critique would bother me. Some is more positive than others, and I think you have to have courage and a tough skin to share such vulnerable things, and I don't know if I'm ready for that, but wonderful that you guys have so much courage.
Thank you for your honesty. Okay.
Yeah. So for me it was really interesting how everyone can think so fast, like just when the idea what someone needs to present, is like, and then he needs to or she needs to go up there and then talk about what actually she just heard. So for me it's really impressive, and I heard a lot of really inspiring speeches.
Thank you. So just for this session one more time, our next meeting is the 26th of April. It's online. I won't be here, I will be in the United States. Teresa will be our presiding officer. So again, please use EasySpeak, sign up for a role. I know it sounds like a lot of transition and we have to be perfect and things, but we're learning by doing. I mean, you can look back at some of my recordings too from 2 years ago, and I didn't know how to transition, and I had a lot more ums. I'm a native speaker, and I still get nervous. I couldn't even remember interracial or social stratus, and I mean, there's so many things that you have on your mind. You keep notes, but it's challenging, but you know, reading and knowing your topic and really just speaking from your heart makes a difference, and people feel it. I think I'm better when I speak like this than when I'm looking at my notes, because I think I have to say that one line, but it doesn't matter, you get the point. And if I don't find the right word, I'll find some other filler word, hopefully not to use. And Annette, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to suggest something for the cohesion and to really get closer to each other. How about having more person-to-person meetings, for especially during this time, when it's still safe to be in a meeting like this, rather than having the online meetings. My suggestion.
We'll keep it just for this month, being that I could try to log on from the States, depending on the change in time. And I know a lot of people are still working from home until the 1st of May. So just to complete April, because Maria Teresa's already put out the meeting invite, let's finish.
No, I haven't put out the meeting, I put in the meetings, but not the invite.
Okay, but for the fourth Tuesday of this month, we'll stay online, and then we'll revisit this for the May meeting. We'll discuss it at the XCOM meeting. And then, as you know, we have to start nominating people to take over for next year. I have to give up my post, and I know that we're giving up Brigitte's post as treasurer.
I hope not.
Yeah, I also hope not.
I hope not. Please, Brigitte, we will bribe you. We will bribe
that we
you.
have to.
We don't have to.
No, we don't have
to.
to.
I know that you're staying with the agency, so you have to have access to the bank.
staying.
Okay, perfect.
We
I
can
mean, it's
keep
up
her.
to- I would love it if you changed because it's.
Yes, she needs a job.
If I decide to retire, let's say in a few months, maybe, and somebody else has to take over.
Until then, you keep the role.
We will cross the bridge when we get there.
Exactly, I love that. Cross the bridge when we get to it. Because the institutional knowledge of, what, 10 years now you've been treasurer? That's something. And
That's
it's
a lot.
money coming in, it's
That's a lot.
transferring it to the United States on a credit card.
She's very
Keep
experienced.
the hand over the
No, I have to not do that in numbers, so I can never take the role.
Okay. So with that, I'm going to close our meeting for today. It was great to see you all. Enjoy your afternoon, enjoy the sun, and all the best.
All your have there, but in the office, please help yourself with some Easter eggs.